Yeah, what's going on, Aaron? So talk about your journey. Going through Elon. How did you choose Elon? And then also when you get there, man, you was really accomplished. So how and when did you know that you was essentially that guy at Elon?
Well, man, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, bro. Glad to be here. It'd be cool to chop it up. With one a fellow 2013 NFL drafted, another SoCon guy, even though he went to my
Absolutely.
rival, App State. But man, the football journey was an interesting one, man. Unlike most people, like I didn't start playing football to the 10th grade,
Hmm.
and so Elon kind of just my coach at the time in high school kind of just sent out film on me to everybody, to all these mid-major, I guess FCS schools and some FBS schools. So Elon was one of the ones that was one of the three schools that offered me. But most people don't know this. Funny enough, I had got a questionnaire from App State that I was supposed to fill out that I lost. And I didn't find it until like my sophomore year at Elon. So it's like I was like, oh man, I could have easily been a mountaineer at that time. But yeah, so that's kind of how the journey to Elon started. Like they took a chance on me as a kid that didn't really have much football experience, especially playing wide receiver. Like I started out as a safety,
Yeah.
and so getting there, the biggest thing, the transition was like actually learning football concepts and understanding more than just what I basically played like on Madden and NCAA at the time. Like the intricacies of it, like I didn't have because I hadn't been playing football long, and my coach kept it simple. So like that part was an adjustment. So it took me like a couple of years to truly get into it and get the detailed pieces of it. Cause like I was ready to quit my first week of training camp. I don't know how your experience was. I
Hmm.
was ready to go home. I was like, yeah, this ain't what I signed up for
Yeah.
back in the day. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of how it all started, and obviously it worked out for me in the long run, which I'm grateful for Elon to take that chance on me.
Absolutely. I think our paths are a little similar because I didn't start until I was about, 12, 13 years old. So I was a little late bloomer. People that make it to the league, they start when they were 5, 7 years old. So I got a little late start as well. So, man, but you talked about losing that questionnaire. So the Mountaineers could have had the great Aaron Mellette. That's wishful thinking right there. But you had a hell of a career at Elon, man. So talk a little bit about that. You second leading receiver coming out of Elon. Behind the great Terrell Hudgens. So talk a little bit about how did you know that you was the guy? When did that kind of click in? Right? Hey, I'm a great here at Elon.
Well, I mean, first, it starts with getting the watch Terrell. I got to spend 2 years like just watching him. He was the reason I decided to go to Elon ultimately because like I wanted to come in there and break every single record he had set and was setting at the time. So getting to watch him and saw like how an FCS All American came to work every day, how he approached in the game, like what's our commonalities. We both kind of tall. I'm a little bit slimmer than he was at the time and faster. I think I was faster than him. Well, most people know that. And so getting to watch him for those 2 years and being his backup, and then once he graduated, looking to become the starting edge, which I had to battle it out with one of my bros, who's still one of my great friends to this day, and Rasan. Like me and him was battling it out. Like I was second string going into fall camp in 2010, which most people don't even know that story. Um, so I was second string him, but ended up winning that camp battle. And it really took. We played Richmond that year, which their team was nice and loaded with the linebackers and a couple of DBs. And I remember like one of their DBs was talking trash. I mean, not the DB. One of the linebackers was talking trash, but I think he was an All American as well. He was like, "Yeah, our DB's gonna have more catches than they receivers gonna have." And I was like, I took it personally because I'm an ultimate competitor. And then that game kind of just set the tone and the standard for that 2010 season. Like, yo, I can do this. I can play with these dudes. The confidence is growing. And because I think a couple weeks later we went and played Georgia Southern, and then like I hung up 195 on Richmond, then hung up like 120 something on Georgia Southern, and I'm like, yeah, I can do this. And then I think maybe 3 weeks later we came to the Rock. That was my first time, my second time coming to the Rock, but it was my first time as a starter coming there. And I think it might have been, I think it's Ed Gainey that might have been one of the corners,
Yep. Ed
or he might
Gainey.
have moved to safety that year. But I know y'all had a crazy secondary of like a 4 year span there, not my time there. And like just going against y'all at that time and having an amazing, having an amazing day, career day that day, like that's what really kind of started the confidence ball and like I can hang with these dudes, and like, okay, what's going to keep motivating me to be the best and be the best? One, I want to be better than Terrell. I wanted Elon fans to forget him instantly. That was the real thing, and then I just wanted to go out there against the other SoCon competition and establish myself. For that, we set up the whole season cursor, and then that did that. But even then, going to 2011, I think that's when it truly took off. When we had to go to Vanderbilt, open up there, and I went up against Casey Hayward, who was like an all SEC corner, and had an amazing day against him. So that kind of really drove like, oh, now I got a chance to be even bigger. Like I really am this kind of guy. And I was also fueled by your old teammate Brian Quick. And the receiver from Chattanooga, you might remember. I think it's Joel Bradford was the receiver from Chattanooga. That was nice. And so like I thought myself like, oh, they don't even think I'm better than either one of them. Okay, now I'm really I'm about to prove everybody in the conference room like, no, I'm the number one receiver in this conference. I'm the number one receiver on our level. So like those are all different things that fueled me in my competitive drive, and then like the confidence was just showing in the play. And I feel like it was nothing I couldn't do, other than unless I got hurt that could slow me down within those 2 years.
Yeah, and that confidence, it showed every single time that you played. We had you circled, every single year. First it was Terrell Hudgens when I first got there, and then it moved to Aaron Mellette. Make sure we know where number 3 is at all times. But you touched on some great points there. You talked about, going to Georgia Southern, having a great game there, and then also coming to the Rock. So talk to us about that atmosphere, right? Coming into the Rock, it's a different atmosphere. So talk a little bit about that.
Oh boy, hey, y'all stadium and Georgia Southern Stadium was my two favorite places to come to. And I was just like, yeah, when I come to the Rock, well, the first time I went there, I had never seen snow and sunshine at the same time.
Yeah.
That was in 2008 when I got registered. I was like, yo, bro, this is ridiculous. There's no way I could have went to school here. Like
Yeah.
snow and sunshine at the same time. Like who goes to school in this? But then those last two times I got to go there, oh man, coming to the Rock was literally like my favorite stadium to play in. Only thing I hated was the track that was surrounding us. I don't know if it's still there nowadays, but they had the track then, so the fans couldn't be up on us, and I couldn't like trash talk with it. But man, y'all had one obviously a beautiful backdrop with the video board and like the hill back there. Back in at that time, I don't know what it looks like now, but man, I love coming to the Rock. I'll just like when I come here, like I just want to put the Rock on silence, and like I just want to have all these Mountaineer fans on edge. Not even like I joke about it to people to this day. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm the best receiver, one of the best receivers in App State history, and I never played for him. It's like that's how much I enjoy coming to the Rock, and I'm like, I'm gonna make the Rock stand still. I don't want to hear no bells and whistles. Now, granted, I didn't win none of the games we played against y'all, which sucked. But it's like, yo, they gonna remember who I am. Like they gonna hold their breath every time they see me line up on that field. In that number 3 jersey every time.
Yeah, you definitely made us hold our breath a few times. So yeah, going into those seasons, right, going into those games, talk to us about your mindset going into the games. Obviously, the last 2 times that we played our junior year and senior year, it was me and you. But talk about going into the week, App State week, right? What was some of the coaches telling you, right? Obviously we had our matchup, so were they talking about me? Were they talking about just some of the defensive players that we had? So yeah.
So those weeks, I love those weeks because one, I did like the team and myself didn't need any extra motivation. Like we knew App State is coming to town. App State is the standard of the conference. We know what they stand for. We got another chance to try to make history here. And then when it came to game planning, like especially the last 2 years, like okay, well the first year I didn't know if you was gonna trail me around or follow me around, especially then because I moved around a lot and I was dealing with a high ankle sprain. So like I don't know how far back y'all watch film, but like I knew early on in the season, like at Vanderbilt, I played all 4 receiver positions. But towards the end, once I hurt my ankle, like I was only going left and right. So at that time, I didn't know if he was going to trail me. But it was one of those things. Like I look forward to it. Like he's tall, he's like 6'3", he can run. Okay, where can I gain an advantage? Can I play around at the line, or do I don't play around the line? and that kind of stuff. But then I start looking at the defense holistically, because y'all had the linebacker. Was it not? Is it Kimbrough?
Yeah, Jeremy
That might have been the
Kimbrough.
middle linebacker.
Yep, Jeremy
Yeah,
Kimbrough.
so I'm keying on him, and then I think Ed had moved to safety at that time, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he had a little bit of safety, but yeah, yeah.
So like I was like, okay, where we at? How much time? Because I started looking like how long do I think my offensive line could hold up against y'all front seven? Knowing I think y'all might have been a quarters team at that time, and so like I knew I had you who could tall run with me, so I won't have a height advantage, not necessarily a speed advantage, but it's like okay, how much time do I truly have? And so that's kind of what it was. And then going into the 12, like I knew you was gonna trail me around, and I knew that okay, it's gonna be a dog fight.
Hmm.
Okay, now I just need to know: are they gonna let them play one on one with me the whole time? Are they gonna try to double at times? What where are they thinking and going? And so like even with the prep week, I always think about this. This is probably terrible to say, but like I knew whatever schemes teams been using up until that point, it probably changed because I don't know if they dealt with a prolific receiver. So I'm like, I could study this all day long, but I don't mean that's what's gonna happen when I get out there on the field at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock on a Saturday. So I put a lot of onus into more so what is the player's tendencies, how can they show different coverages, what can I do to learn what they're tipping off and whatever the scheme is, and then in the game is when I really like and play back the first couple of series. Okay, this is the coverage I'm seeing. This is probably what I'm about to see the rest of the game. And so I did like a double dissect of what's really going on out there because it was hard. Like you understand that whatever that prep week like was for y'all. Like y'all did certain stuff against the certain teams in the SoCon, but it's like okay, we know he's out here. Okay, how do we play this? What do we do? How are we gonna scheme it? Do we just let them go and then shut everybody else down? Because in football, I only can score so much.
Yep.
What is that process like? And so that was what my approach was, and like respect to whoever it is going to trail me because it ain't hard. You're going up against the top person on each side, going up against you every game or every single matchup. You going against me like that stuff is a mental warfare, and it's just like we playing chess with each other. And like, so who's gonna get the final? Like, who's gonna win the chess piece battle when it matters the most?
Absolutely, and I think we had a lot of great plays against each other. I go back to our senior year, right? Yeah, I think you had 3 touchdowns that game. I had a pick, so and we had some scouts there. That game was circled, so
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to trail you, and the team put the trust in me to be able to trail you. I gave up a few, but I also had one as well. We
Yeah.
ended up winning the game, so it was a battle, and I appreciate those battles because, it helped me. I'm sure it helped you as well, prepping for the next step in the NFL. So yeah, man, I think it was fun. I always go back to, seeing some of the pictures,
Yeah.
when college football comes on, I'm seeing some of the pictures, reminiscing on some of the times that we had and some of the battles. So that's great to hear. You touched on just the mental aspect, right? Obviously you had a physical advantage, being 6'3", over 200 pounds, right? Really, just a lot of people don't know what separates a great, and that's the mental. That's the mental, right? So at this level, right, a lot of great talent at the FCS level. So what separated you mentally from, some of the great receivers that was also, at the FCS level?
Honestly, man, I won't say it was my competitive nature because I think we all are ultra competitive. Like you don't rise to the cream of the crop at any level if you're not ultrally competitive. But I think it was the way I approached it. Like I always told myself I want to be the person that's embarrassing somebody, not the person getting embarrassed. And I think, like growing up, my favorite athlete was Michael Jordan. And so like I always hear he's an assassin, he's an assassin. And so like that's what my thought process was on the football field. Like, oh, we can take it there. We can go there. Like I'm gonna embarrass you in front of your mama before I let you embarrass me in front of mine. Now I got embarrassed a couple of times in front of my mom. They joked about it. We laughed about it. It was funny. She used to record it and then send it to me. But that's what my approach was, my thought process. Like even like when you brought the 12 game, like I think the first catch of the game, I think like I kind of gave myself up and like you like slammed me back on the hitch and I got up. I was like, oh, that's how we playing this today. All right, let's go. Like let's see if we can match it. And I tell that people all the time nowadays. Like I thought myself like I have base levels that I would play at, and I'm like, if somebody can keep up with me at this level, okay, when I raise it up a notch, can you still hang? Can you still hang with me? If you can hang with me there, can I keep going? Because like you gonna force me to elevate myself higher than what I think I can go. So let's see if we can keep matching blow for blow. And that's to me, that's the process that I think made me different from the other probably great players in the conference and in the FCS. Like, oh, I'm not gonna back down. Like you might have an advantage this play, but like, I'm gonna keep coming at you. Let's see how long you can endure for this battle. And then just studying NFL players at that time, especially like Chad Johnson. Like I was training, watching all his training tapes. Calvin Johnson, Terrell Owens, Marvin Harrison, Randy Moss. Like I was studying all their highlights and stuff and their time in the NFL and like what can I steal from them and take to my game from a playing standpoint and use that to my advantage. Because like you said, everybody's strong, everybody's fast, but can I outsmart you? And then I started watching film differently, like I alluded to earlier. Like I started paying attention more to tendencies versus just the coverages in itself, because the tendencies is what's going to show me what I need to truly know, because on the fly I can move and adjust however I need to adjust within our system, and just the ability to adapt on the field. Like no matter at the end of the series, I could call back or play back everything that's going on, what's happening, and so just having like a really good photographic memory of what's happening on my side, taking snapshots and being able to communicate that to my receiver coach, to the QBs, to the other receivers, and collecting as much information as possible. Like that's what to me a great player can do, is being able to recall back stuff instantly after a series or after a play, or being able to play chess and understand you don't got to reveal everything in the first two series. Like you got to have something in the back pocket waiting to go, and your go-to move can't never be stopped. Like you always got to win with your go-to move, because if that goes away, then when it gets to a 2-minute drill, you're going to be too tired to try to do anything new. You got to be able to win at all times with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touching on some great points, right? Mentally, being able to study some of the guys that you study, Chad Johnson, Terrell Owens, some great Hall of Fame players, right? I remember watching some of those videos of Chad Johnson training, right? Up on YouTube. That helped me prepare, right? That helped me prepare. I'm sure it helped a lot of people prepare coming up when we came up. So, and then also just the chess matches, right? Being out there on that island is a chess match. It's 70 plays of me versus you, and I can't tip myself off, within the first 10 plays, because we got 60 more plays to be able to, up against each other. So yeah, man, it's a mental warfare when it comes to, the playing, on that island, whether that's corner or whether that's a receiver. But I want to kind of dive into your time in the league, right? So let's transition over there. So going into the league, right? You highly accomplished in the FCF level, right? You go drafted. You go 7th round, right? 238th pick. In the 2013 draft, right? So when you got to Baltimore, right? Did you feel overlooked? Do you feel like you had a lot to prove during that time?
Oh man, like when I first got there, it was more so how can I adjust? Like, especially because they was coming off the Super Bowl winning season, so that kind of off season is totally different. Things would probably seem like a little bit more relaxed. Anquan Bolden is no longer there. I think Ray Lewis retired. Ed Reed is no longer there. So you come in, and it was me and a couple other draft picks like Matt Edom, like he was there to replace Ed Reed. Like, so you got guys coming here drafted looking to replace somebody that did something so amazing that they put a ring on their finger. And so like my expectation was trying to figure out, get adjusted, get acclimated, because obviously the speed of the game is one thing. The agent said the speed of the game is faster. But then like I'm in a room with guys like I watched play on Saturdays when I wasn't playing, or I seen them playing national championship games and for the FBS level. And I'm like, man, I'm sharing a locker room with this dude. So it's kind of like, okay, where do I kind of fit in with them? How long does it take me to get adjusted and acclimated? So that kind of is what it was. Like it was new, and I had never been out of North Carolina at that time. So like living on my own, away from family, like okay, even though I'm only 6 hours away from a car ride, like still Baltimore's a new city. I don't know nothing about Baltimore in that regards, and just kind of getting equipped and getting used to the expectations of the Ravens at the time what they had, and then understanding, okay, this is where I can fit in with my role. Who is the vets I can kind of lean on and learn from, And then at the same time, being the only drafted receiver, they're gonna put you ahead of everybody when it comes to all the drills for rookie mini camp and anything with the third team or second team, however they did it. Like, you're gonna be ahead. But like, at the same time, I'm a 7th round pick, so I know, like, I ain't a 1st round pick, so it ain't like I got any permission, not special permission, or special treatment that other kids, other teams, other players ain't gonna get. Because it was like our receiving room was like 12 of us, and like 7 or 8 of them was on the Super Bowl squad, either a practice squad or they actually contributed. So like, I'm going to beat out these other dudes that contributed for this team to win a freaking Super Bowl, and like that. And that part was like, man, like, you gotta catch a break, especially as a 7th round pick, because they're expecting stuff from you, but it's not like they're expecting stuff from you as a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round pick who's going to contribute right away. Like, we are expendable, which most people didn't know that. I didn't know that until I saw that contract. Like, the contract split. Like, no, 4 through 7, you were really an expendable person. You just got to hope you do enough for them to let you make the team over somebody that has contributed years there, or who already knows the game, who's already better than you at what you're doing. So yeah, it was definitely adjustment, but it was cool being a part of that organization, such an amazing organization, and like seeing them celebrate a Super Bowl. It made me think, like, yeah, I want to win one here. Like, thinking, not projecting far ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That was definitely a squad. The previous year, end up winning a Super Bowl, coming into that locker room. So a lot to prove there. That's what the podcast is about, right? Being on the bubble, like you said, right? Rounds 4 through 7, and then even if you're undrafted, you're essentially expendable. So you got to fight your way in for a spot. So wanted to ask you also, did you have a welcome to the NFL moment? I know everyone kind of has one. Was there a time that you had a welcome to the NFL moment?
I probably had 2. The first one, my welcome to the NFL moment, is getting hurt during training camp. Because then I was showing up at like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning to go through treatment. And I was dealing with a knee issue. I was getting my knee drained like once a week, during the preseason. And like, that was different. I had never got hurt. And it's like, man, you on a different time clock. I'm there before everybody, probably except the quarterback. And then I'm there later than everybody, probably except the quarterback. So that was my first welcome to the NFL moment. I was like, I got to stay out this training room. So I was like, I don't need to be in here if I don't want to be in here. And then my second one, I guess it was the Carolina game. Which is basically, at that time, it was the dress rehearsal game. It was always the 3rd preseason game. And so, at that point, they'll tell you, like, well, if you play a lot that game, you're more than likely going to make the team, because it's the dress rehearsal. And so getting put out there, I think it might have been the 2nd or 3rd series, and going up against like Josh Norman, and I know Luke Kuechly was out there, and like he hit me one time, like my elbow hit the ground. It's like, you all right? I was like, yeah, I didn't feel the hit. My elbow hurt, but like, people was like, oh, he rocked you. But I was like, yeah, but that's probably it, because I learned, no, you don't need to run that F8 bullet that way. You're supposed to be here. And I was like, okay, because if you really mess up where you're supposed to land, that somebody's coming to lay you out. Luckily, his hit on me didn't really hurt me. I just felt it in my arm for hitting the ground. But those were my 2 welcome to the NFL moments for sure. And then I don't know how Jacksonville was, but the way the Ravens practiced, oh, bro, they had a thing called double downs. So you split in half, and you running the same reps at the same time as the first team and the second team. Oh, bro, if you want to shape, oh my God, that you gonna know real quick, because it's like you want that, because you want the opportunity to showcase what you can do, versus maybe some organizations, like everybody in the team period is just standing around, you hoping to get your name called.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those were the 3 moments, from being hurt, Luke Kuechly's hit with the Panthers, and actually having to play a whole game. Like, I cramped up right before halftime. Like, I didn't understand the preparation or the hydration that truly goes into trying to play a game. And that's when you got 75 or 100 guys on the roster. That's totally different when you only got 53 and you don't got a sub. So those were the moments that for sure was my welcome to the NFL.
Absolutely, man. And it make you, going through those situations right there, when I got to training camp too, man, it was definitely a rude awakening, right? Right, you in there. It's truly a business now. It's truly a business, and the old saying, right? Your best ability is your availability, right? So you gotta make sure your body is right at all times. And so, I think going into the league, right, it teaches you how to be a professional. So you learn how to take care of your body. You learn how to come in early. But yeah, man, I feel that 100%. Um, I wanted to also ask, you've had tremendous, success during your career, your playing career. You Is there a play that kind of stands out in your collegiate career, your playing, your high school career, your professional career? Is there a play that one particular play that stands out to you that always be your favorite?
Oh, you gonna hate me for this one.
Okay.
My last touchdown at the Rock is
Okay.
probably my favorite touchdown. I think we
Right.
was going towards where the band is, that back
Okay.
corner where however it used to be.
I
And I
remember
know
the
we
play.
both went up for a jump ball, and I
Yep.
just happened to be in like to a position where my momentum didn't drop me to the ground. And I
Yep.
know you end up falling back into the end zone. But I think that by far is my favorite collegiate touchdown. And more so
Yep.
because the fans in the background, like they thought you had an interception, but then they
Yep.
realized I had the ball, and you can just
Yep.
see they like this and just like, oh, and I was like, yeah, that's it. That's me. That's my I made the rock stand still
Yep.
moment. I think it might have still been a close game at that point. But I was like, yeah, that was probably by far my favorite touchdown. Ironically enough, it was against you.
I know.
But that
I
to me it was
remember that
like,
play.
yeah,
I definitely
yeah,
remember
that
that
was
play.
by
I couldn't
far
believe it.
that was my favorite one.
Okay, I couldn't
Yeah,
believe you
man. It
caught
was some
that,
good
man.
times, man.
I
Good
couldn't
times.
believe you caught that one. That one was like, man, that one kind of hurt too. That one kind of hurt. So I knew it. I knew when I didn't have that ball in my hand, I'm like, oh, he caught it 100%. So yeah, man, that's what's up, bro. That's definitely what's up. So yeah, as we end this conversation, man, talk about life now. What are you into now? I see that you got the Elon sweater on. I got the App State on. So talk a little bit about what life looks like for you now.
So now I'm back working at Elon University, assistant director of student athlete development here. So I've enjoyed being able to like come back. I oversee SAC, which is Student Athlete Advisory Council, which I wasn't a part of when I was in college, but it's cool being a part of it now and like help making changes for these student athletes, man, trying to help them become better individuals, on and off their playing field, and obviously like giving a chance to give back my knowledge of how I approach the games and how I approach competitions, how I took care of my body, and trying to give them as much insight as possible, no matter what sport it is. If any of them want to ask me anything, like, hey, this is how I did this, I just finished my MBA as well, so finished that up. Can't wait to get my diploma in the mail. So, never thought I would go back to school, at that time. But it's like, hey, it's one of the things you need to better yourself. You can do a whole lot more with that. So, as I try to ascend in this college athletic world, or even in another industry as well, that's kind of stuff I'm doing is want to be able to help people become better and control, lead a team. And that's kind of where my heart is. Well, I never would thought that was going to be the case. Because like I said, like my NFL career didn't last long. It literally lasted a year, and I had to have surgery. My knee was never the same, and I could never get back because I couldn't pass physicals. And so it really took an adjustment period of falling into some kind of like depression. Like it's like, man, I've been a football player. Like this ain't the path that I thought I was going to be on. Anything this was like God's path for me. But it ended up making me a better human being because I'm able to influence the younger generation and give back to a place that I care deeply for, and that I love, that took a chance on me back in 2008. So that's kind of what I'm up to now. I'm in the office now, shooting this segment. So it's pretty cool being able to shoot this segment with you from my office at the university, in a field house that I helped build.
Yep. I love it. I love it. Man, those kids are they lucky to have you, man. I'm sure you are giving them some great wisdom, from your time, being at Elon, and then also your professional time as well. So, man, I do commend you on all the success that you've had, and I appreciate you being on the show. But yeah, man, I do again, man. It was a pleasure speaking with you during this time. Yeah, and we do got to link up. I know that you'll be here in
Oh,
Jacksonville
for
here
sure.
soon, but we'll link up sometime.
Oh yeah, for sure. As soon as we're gonna link up, we should do like Chad and Dion be doing line up right up against each
Let's
other
do
like
it.
old time.
Let's do it. Let's do it. That'll be one for the ages right there. So yeah, let's do
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro.